Less than 2 weeks to go before Alabama kicks off their opener against Western Kentucky in the debut of the DeBoer era in Tuscaloosa. We're going to talk about practice as it continues, some position battles, and also some things not to worry about, because I've heard other shows are saying, hey, I'm worried about this or this wasn't good. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a couple areas that you ought to be really excited about. And also something that, you know what, maybe this is a bad trend now. This is 3 guys that have decommitted. Alabama loses a 4-star linebacker to Tennessee. I mean, when's the last time that's happened? All right, we're going to talk about all that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. And Big Sexy Elmo has decided to join us today. So you know it's going to be a great show anytime he's, as we say in the business, in the house. Boom, there he is. Look at this guy right here, Brett Elmore from the Brett Elmore Show. We call him Big Sexy Elmo here. Great to see you again, my friend, and welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been a little iffy the past week. I know this. But we're getting into crunch time, Mick. And this team needs to stay together. And I'm not talking about Alabama. I'm talking about us. Because we love the viewers. And I'm here, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
All right. Well, you look good. You got your Bama shirt on. You're locked in right now. Fresh new haircut. You shaved. You're ready to go because you feel the band's playing right now. I can hear them. I can hear them. Just pretend I'm sitting over at the Arby's, and I hear the $1 Million Band practicing. And I know that when I hear that sound, and I can smell football in the air, along with roast beef sandwiches, that we're ready to go and play some football. Oh, wait a second. There's a game going on across the street at the intramural fields. Hey, the fraternities are pledging. The kids are back. It's football time in Alabama.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's an epic open right there.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about Alabama football practice. They had their scrimmage over the weekend, and Brett, I kind of broke some of this down. You talk about like position battles, and there really isn't a whole lot of position battles to really grind out. The two that we've kind of kept an eye on are, obviously the right tackle position, because you're going, okay, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Wilkin Formby, or is it going to be Elijah Pritchard? But I don't even know how significant that is, because I feel like if you didn't win that, maybe you don't, you're not the starter the first game. You may be the starter the next game. You're going to see snaps. That's a position where guys get hurt. There's going to be depth issues, and if you run fast, you kind of switch those out. So I don't know that there's necessarily a loser in this spot. It's not like quarterback where you only have one. These guys are versatile and they can play other positions as well, but that's one that we're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to see some rotation there, maybe the first and second game, because we don't know if there's going to be a clear-cut winner for the starting roles. So, and like I mentioned a couple days ago, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, both guys are obviously good enough to win the position, and it keeps you fresh on the right side of the line.
No doubt. And then, maybe the Husky spot, we've kind of looked at that before. Devontae Smith, I think he's going to get it. Red Morgan has had a good season as well, or at least, camp, where you feel good about the future of Red Morgan, who was, one of Alabama's top recruits from last year. And the reason that a lot of these guys are getting an opportunity is because so many people transferred out of that secondary. And you just can't tell me that coaching, and maybe some of the coaches that left and their intentions to try to bring players with them, didn't hurt that position in that group. And that's one of the problems I think that Nick Saban had at the end of his coaching career, is that he had a lot of hired assassins and he didn't have a lot of guys that were loyal. And so, hey, look, I'm going to Georgia for a job. Why don't you guys follow me? And that's kind of the business where we are right now. But it's a shame in one aspect. The other aspect is that Nick Saban recruited his tail off, and so did his staff. And they've got a lot of 5- and 4-star guys in that secondary. We're going to see what those guys can do. Cornerbacks, Damani Jackson, we figured that he's going to be the guy. Jaleel Hurley, who's the only holdover in the cornerback spot. We're not hearing anything about him. Clint Lamb from Cover Crimson, who I'm, do a show with, thinks he might transfer eventually just because you're not hearing from him. But then you look on the other side and you're like, okay, Deshaun Jones from the transfer from Wake Forest, or is it going to be one of the 3 5-star guys?
Yeah, a lot going on there. And the one thing you said right there was that's the business we're in. I hate to hear that.
Right.
This is supposed to be college football. And you're right, though, when you say it is the business that we're in. Mm-hmm. This has just turned into such a, you talk to people around the water cooler or whatever, and you're talking about things. We were talking the other night about watching some of this NFL preseason stuff. I was with some friends, and we were complaining about the new NFL kickoff rules. I mean, have you seen the new kickoffs?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are we doing here? I mean, where's this game going to be in another 5 years? This is with the NIL and all that. Yeah, it's a huge business. But back to position battles, the topic at hand. Yeah, there's a couple, that we've mentioned, but the key thing is during practice is keeping people healthy and getting better.
Right.
And that's the 2 things you want to see out of this team. We got a lot of talent on that football field, and the 2 things are going to be staying healthy and getting better before the home opener, against Western Kentucky.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I feel like, when you say, okay, well, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? You start talking position battles. You get into all that stuff, and I feel like, hey, if Jones isn't going to take over the cornerback spot and lock it down, Xavier Brown, I feel comfortable with him. You and I both love Jalen Mbakwe. I just feel like eventually you just got to get to the point where the guys that are young have enough experience where they're going to go out there and take care of business, right? They're going to be comfortable. But one position that I've heard people say, hey, Mick, you never talk about the kickers. What's up with the kickers? I feel like the kicking game is going to be the best it's been in a long time. I mean, you went out and got Graham Nicholson out of the transfer portal. He was the number 1 kicker last year, even better than the guy Alabama had. According to the awards that he won. James Burnap is coming in, and then you got Keelan Hibbert that can snap the football. I mean, you got the long snapper, you got the punter, you got the kicker. I feel like this is an area where Alabama is going to really excel, and that's special teams.
And oddly enough, in Coach DeBoer's interview, press conference the other day, I think after scrimmage, he was talking about Burnett was one of the ones that probably had the best camp of anybody.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm not. We lost a really good kicker, but we've replaced him with what is it? The
Groza,
the Lou Groza Award. Yeah, award winner. That's a big deal. So I figure it'll be fine there in the kicking game, but. It's such an important part of the game. And yeah, people ask about the kickers because in the past we've struggled with the kicking game.
Yeah, that's right. Now, the funniest thing is wide receiver seems to be a really strong position. Yeah. And there, and you know how it goes in that group. I mean, you're swapping guys in and out, like just because you're in the ones doesn't mean that if you're in the twos, you're not going to play. I mean, you got to be ready to go. But everything I keep hearing is that Ryan Hollywood Williams is he's the real deal, man. And I don't want to overhype this, but it's really exciting to kind of continue to just get all of this we knew that Jeremy Bernard, who transferred in from Washington, kind of waited his time behind 3 NFL wide receivers, was going to be good. Kendrick Law, I mean, I don't think we're talking enough about him. Kobe Prentice, I mean, that's another guy that you expect to be something important for Alabama. The big guy, Caleb Odom, people are talking a little bit about Emmanuel Henderson and Cole Adams and Rico Scott, all these guys, but Ryan Williams, the true freshman is supposed to be in high school, is the guy that everybody's like, man, this dude.
Yeah, you hear all the hype, and it gets louder and louder and louder with every practice. And he's going to be an all-star. If he stays healthy, he's going to be an all-star.
Well, it's exciting, man. I mean, just because also this was an in-state guy who, Alabama was able to secure, could have gone somewhere else, decommitted, came back. So good for him, man. I'm excited to see how much he actually is used early in the season for the Crimson Tide. I mean, to see a guy that goes out first drive of the season, remember when Julio Jones caught that pass? I mean, his very first play went to him, and it kind of established the fact that Saban was going to go get these guys and they were going to play. And so, it's really going to be interesting just to see how DeBoer does kind of the same thing. So, we'll find out. But that's the good news, that things are progressing through practice. And then, we're less than 2 weeks away from kickoff. Now, the bad news is, Brett, is 4-star linebacker Jaden Harmon decommitted from Alabama and went to Tennessee. So this is a bad trend. I have to say it. This is a bad trend when you have all these guys decommitting, had guy decommit and go to Auburn, and now you got a guy decommitting and going to Tennessee. You're losing some players to your biggest rivals.
Yeah, and this one, it hits pretty good. Harmon is from Rome, Georgia. He committed back in April, but he also took some more visits. He went to Tennessee. He went to Ohio State, and now he's flipped. And you look at that class. That's what, class of 25.
Yeah.
You've got some really good commitments at that linebacking core. You got Merritt, and you have Hill on the edge, and then Sanders, is a commit, and Johnson and Metz. So, there's 5 there. But late last night, Andrew Bone reports, guess what? Luke Metz has gotten an offer from Oregon.
Yeah.
And so, just because, and we've talked about it 100 times, just because you have their commitment, it doesn't matter until they get signed in on campus. And people are going to pluck at our players and try to win them over. And guess what? There'll be some other guys flipped to Alabama.
Yeah.
It works both ways. I don't think you panic, but it is an alarming trend, but you don't panic. We've had some really good recruiting.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Okay, well, I won't panic then. But what I will tell you guys is that if you don't want to catch me here, then don't watch. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, what?
Yeah, no, catch me here, right? On the Bama Tailgate channel, which will have the Bama Tailgate show coming up soon with Brett and Jake Coker during football season on, for our tailgate show. The radio tailgate show, which is syndicated across the state. Sunday rollback. We'll be back for Sunday rollback. So we're going to have some shows here, but I'm also on covercrimson.com as well, or Cover Crimson's YouTube channel and then .com. But getting to hang out with Clint Lamb, Mike Johnson, some of my other buddies. No offense, Brett. I mean, I love hanging out with you too. But, it's like a group of us.
Yeah. It's a big group of fine individuals.
Thank you. And then Brett, you can catch him. He is a radio mogul right now. Aren't you, Brett?
That's why I'm almost dead.
You a little stressed with all the work?
A little bit, but it's like a dog chasing a car. What are you going to do when you catch it? Well,
yeah. Keep up the good work, Brett. And
Thank you, pal.
And I'm going to be Brett. And they called and they said, hey, does Brett want to go? And I said, no, I don't think he wants to go. Because they said if he does, we'll take care of his room. This week, Wednesday and Thursday at Pearl River Resort. Going to be there with Steve Azar. Brett, do you know Steve Azar? Are you a country music fan?
I know Steve Azar.
Okay.
And I'm glad that you answered for me. But the fact of the matter is I really probably couldn't make it because this week kicks off high school football season here in Alabama. So going to be a little busy.
The timing of it was not right for Big Sexy Elmo. Does he like Pearl River Resort? Yes.
I do.
He does. Does he like to golf? You guys wouldn't believe it, but this guy is a par handicap. And when he dominated the course at Pearl River, which you called the Augusta you could play, you went into the sports book, you bet the $50 on Alabama to win the basketball championship. You played
more than that.
You played Dancing Rabbit Golf Course for $40. You hung out in the awesome clubhouse. You got the breakfast biscuits. Oh, no, that was me. But I got the breakfast biscuits. They were amazing. We went to Geyser Falls and did a show there. We went to the concerts, and there's more concerts right now celebrating 30 years of Pearl River Resort. What a celebration. Yeah. I got a shirt. My son's running around with it, like the 30-year celebration of Pearl River Resort. But, guys, check it out for yourself. Some really fun stuff coming up. And I'll be there on Thursday and Wednesday with Steve Azar. So we're going to do a show from Dancing Rabbit. We're going to do one from the sports book. So check it out for yourself and come hang with us. All right, when we come back from this quick break, it's going to be all about Big Sexy Elmo. We haven't seen him in a while, but we got him here today.
To Pearl River Resort. They call him Big Sexy, coming at you from the Walker County. Jasper is his hometown. He's known for giving free rundowns. Oh, Big Sexy, throwing out those Alabama thoughts, sneaking out your mom's window without getting caught. Nick gives you the XPs, but Big Elmo is here to please. Big Sexy Elmo on the Bama Tailgate Show.
All right, everybody, let's throw this guy back on the stage here. I want to introduce you guys to one of my really good friends and a man that everyone in Jasper knows as Big Sexy Elmo. Brett Elmore, the host of the Brett Elmore Show, joining us here on the Bama Tailgate Show to tell us all about what's going on today in the world. But before we go there, I want to remind you guys that you can catch him on WJLX Radio, 101.5 FM, the sound of Walker County, weekday morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time, or at www.WJLX1015.com. And available on all major apps. Here's Brett Elmore.
You were so close to making that perfect.
I know. We got to cut that and we got to edit that. Like when the other day when I forgot to edit the open that you surprised me on, and then cussed on there, and I gave the middle finger because I get frustrated when I mess things up.
Mick does. Mick is.
I want it to be perfect.
Mick is. Mick's a perfectionist. I wouldn't call him a diva, but he's a perfectionist. And Mick, today is the 19th day of August. And we got to see what's happened on this day. Let's see. Country singer and songwriter Eddie Raven is 80 today.
Eddie Raven.
You remember Eddie Raven?
I remember Eddie Rabbit. That's another animal.
Yeah, but Eddie Raven is 80 today.
Okay, Eddie Raven. I'm looking him up right now just because I'm curious. I mean, what a cool name.
You know Eddie Raven.
Let's see if I recognize any of his songs. I mean, he does look familiar.
Yeah, I mean,
I got Mexico, Shine, Shine, Shine. I Gotta Get You. Joe Knows How to Live. I don't know this guy. Oh, wait, was he in the Oak Ridge Boys?
I don't think so.
He wrote songs for the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah,
I never seen this guy in my life. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Well, another guy that you probably know is singer, guitarist Elliot Laurie. You know this guy? He's 76 today. I bet you do. He's with Looking Glass. Remember that song?
Brandy.
Yes.
Well, and they are. We did this on your channel. We came up with the best one-hit wonder of all time, and it is. It's Looking Glass. Brandy.
Yeah, that is such a great song.
It's a great song. But what do you got? You can't come back from it though.
Right.
It's like, oh, we're going to do Brandy was a fine girl. It's like a whole story about a ship and all this stuff. And she's like working at the bar at the place where all the ships come in. And I'm like picturing like this little wooden bar on the top of the side of a mountain. And the guys look like pirates.
Put it in the ashtray, Mick. You painted this picture, and I'm like,
is that what you thought when you saw it?
I could probably go with that. I mean, I'm just going to agree with you.
Dark hair, pulled back in a ponytail. Just a little rough around the edges, but she'll sling a drink. Great sense of humor, cute.
You think she may have pigtails? What do you think
No,
about pigtails?
one
ponytail.
Yeah.
You got ponytails, you got pigtails. You a pigtail man, you a ponytail man. Which one are you?
I got no preference. I like them both.
I kind of like the pigtails. I think they're hot. Anyway,
okay. Note to self.
John Stamos is 61.
All right, I love John Stamos. I'm going to tell you.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
There was a long pause there, and I was like,
no, I like so here's the deal, okay? I used to watch his show, and the show was Full House, and he was on that show, but he was also in the Beach Boys, which was crazy too. Like, so but I think it was because he was in Full House, maybe he was in the Beach Boys, whatever. He's a singer and he's an actor. He's been in a lot of stuff, and then he would come on the Howard Stern show. And when I used to watch or listen to the Howard Stern show, either one, and he was on there a lot. So yeah, happy birthday.
Birthday to Stamos. Clay Walker is 55 today.
I love Clay Walker. I mean,
I have a, and I don't even know if you know this, but I have a good friend that I think he has recently retired from the band, but he played with Clay Walker. He was his lead guitarist for ever.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He lives in Jasper. Landon Taylor is his name, and friend of mine, and he toured with Clay Walker for many years.
Oh, I've seen Clay Walker a bunch, and when he came out, I liked him when he came out, and then liked him since. I mean, I've seen him in concert a bunch of times. Hit songs like "Dreaming with My Eyes Wide Open." If I could make a living out of loving you, this woman and this man, rumor has it. I mean, there's so many great songs. I remember the last time I went to like let me just put it like this. The guy is one of the 90s country's great performers and singers. And then the other part was I think he was like, he had some, like maybe he had some kind of muscle disease or something that was, like Parkinson's or something like that. We were, but
Bill's palsy.
No, it wasn't that, but he's kind of dealt with some kind of illness. I feel like I need to look that up now. But he's just continued to to tour and do his thing, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not gonna have to listen to a little of him tonight.
Okay, well, you put a little bit on and pick that back up out of your ashtray, and you'll have a good night. If you're looking for something to celebrate today.
What's the ashtray? Are you saying that like a doobie or something?
I didn't say a doobie. You said a doobie. Where are you
This
going with
isn't Willie
this?
Nelson, man. I mean, different type of music.
Roll me up and smoke me when I die.
I've heard that one. Heard that one.
If you're looking for something to celebrate today is it's International Orangutan Day.
What a great pet. I mean, they're good with the kids. They
Yep.
the only thing is you got to change their diapers.
Yeah, I'd love to have a pet one. I've got a friend who's almost like one to me, like a pet monkey. But anyway, he and I know a girl that actually lives on the beach. You're not gonna believe this, but she has a pet monkey.
Really?
Yes, yeah, she lives down. I think she lives down your way around Gulf Shores. Yeah,
Let's get her and the monkey on the show.
that'll be fine. That'll be fine. I'm sure she would probably do it. She takes the monkey to the beach. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Today is National Hot and Spicy Food Day. Are you going to celebrate that?
Yeah, I love hot and spicy food. It's not always great for my stomach, but I enjoy. I used to try to see how hot I could eat things. I'd go to Jim and Nick's barbecue when I was in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and Jared Kingery, my buddy King Dog, as Jim Wells used to call him, the star of the '97 World Series Alabama team, or at least the pitching staff. We would go to Jim and Nick's, and I would see how hot of a spice I could eat with my barbecue.
Yeah,
just for his entertainment. I'd just do it.
Oh, that's the kind of friend you are, man. I mean,
great friend.
I mean,
all out for my buddy.
It's like, come on, Mick, eat that ghost pepper with this thing. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll eat dinner again real soon. National Potato Day is today as well.
Man, I love some potatoes. Have you ever had them before where they dice them up and then fry them and you can dip them in ketchup and stuff?
Yeah.
Have you ever had them? Well, have you ever had them when they somebody boils them and they take them out and they drain them and then they mash them?
Yeah,
and then they smash them all up. They put a little milk and butter in there.
Right.
Stir them up.
Yeah, they're kind of they make them creamy that way. I don't.
Have you ever had them when they process them and they look kind of like little? They almost look like little wheels or something. They're just little wheels of potato.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have a tot thing that they do with potatoes, and
they look like plugs.
Yeah, they look like plugs, and that's when I first saw them, I thought they were plugs, and I put them in my ears. I thought they were earplugs. Then there's this place. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's called Awful House or Waffle House or something.
Oh, anyway, you've been there.
Anyway, what they do, Mick, you'll never believe this. They have these things that the potato is shredded into, and they'll grab a scoop of them and they'll put them on this flat top that hasn't been cleaned in probably 12 years.
You don't want that clean.
No, you don't want it clean. And you watch them and they're right there in front of you and they're doing this potato this way. And then you can add stuff to them. You'll be like, and I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, smothered, covered, chunked, and peppered.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's do this. And potatoes are good.
I'm scrolling through my text from you to see because I know you sent me a Waffle House picture not too long ago. But the funny thing is all the other stuff that I'm seeing that I sent you every day. I can't find the picture of the Waffle House, but
look, if delete all of our messages, please. if something was happy, I don't want them to see what we talk about, please. Anyway, potato day. Potato day. Oh, now I want a baked potato.
You sent me one of that guy that was pole vaulting.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
1960, Sputnik 5 carries 2 dogs and 3 mice into orbit, and they are later recovered alive. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I'm wondering
that was
how
the beginning of that space program, and I wonder what the 2 dogs and the 3 mice did while they were up there in space. I was probably floating around thinking, what in the hell have we done? We got in the wrong car.
What's happened here?
What's happened here? All You Need Is Love by the Beatles peaked out at number 1, 1967.
Love me some Beatles. It's not like I listen to the Beatles a lot, but it's because I've listened to them so much over the years. But the greatest band of all time, I don't think there's it. You can even make an argument. I mean, they had John Lennon and Paul McCartney in the same band, and then George Harrison, like, is one of the most underrated performers ever. I mean, when you go back and you listen to him and his body of work, these guys all split up and they all had hits. Even Ringo Starr was a really good performer, but when they were together and they were putting out songs, they changed the music business. Elvis is the greatest like performer type guy, you know, like a one-off guy, you know, solo. And then those guys were the greatest band.
And finally,
you disagree with that? Is that
the Beatles the greatest band? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't even think there's is there even an argument there? Who's better?
No, they were a great band. No, I would definitely say they're definitely up there. It just depends on who you ask, I guess. But yeah, the Beatles are up there. I'm a big Beatles fan. Are you accusing me of not being a Beatles fan?
No, I was just throwing it out.
That's just being one of those just being weird. I mean, you gotta love the Beatles, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And finally, the 2015, the FDA approved a female Viagra libido pill, Addy, and I've never heard of it since.
Yeah, no, I don't know anybody. I mean, maybe people were taking it, but
yeah,
Viagra is like, you know, that's kind of a household thing, but never didn't know.
Oh, is it? Is
well,
it?
I mean,
for some
people, there's some people, but everybody
knows.
Have you ever
about taken a Viagra, Mick?
I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's time to go before I get wound up.
This guy back finally, and this is what we get. Roll Tide, everybody. Have a great day.